Hey guys, this is Mishel with Deception Bytes, and I am actually going to be looking into some news articles today because I did something different today, and I was looking into the recent Q posts, and I found several news articles that they're still on topic because they're still surrounding things that Q has discussed in his posts. So just wanted to draw your attention to them. The first one is this. Newly released emails show Hillary invited Putin to Clinton Foundation event. Interesting. Hillary Clinton likes to talk a tough game about Russian President Vladimir Putin, but that didn't stop her from inviting him and other top Russian officials to a Clinton Foundation gala right after she became Secretary of State. Clinton Foundation Director of Foreign Policy, not sure I can pronounce her name, sent dozens of invitations to world leaders, including then Russian Prime Minister Vladimir Putin, Russian President Dmitry, can't pronounce his last name, and former President of the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev. Emails recently obtained by Judicial Watch revealed on March 13th, 2009, Dese emailed the list of invitations to Assistant Secretary of State Andrew Shapiro, who then forwarded the email to top Clinton aide Jake Sullivan. This happened at approximately the same time that the newly appointed Clinton tried to reset U.S. relations with Russia. Gee, that's interesting. Let's see what else I found today. All sorts of interesting tidbits. The upcoming OIG report likely to trigger second special counsel, Comey, Lynch, and Clinton in crosshairs. And I would say that it's about time. While most of the mainstream media fixated last week on whether or not President Trump eats McDonald's in bed while watching guerrilla TV, a flurry of investigative bombshells involving Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and conduct by the FBI's top brass during the 2016 election splashed across the headlines. As a quick review, hang on, let me close this ad. It's on my last nerve. The DOJ is taking a fresh look into Hillary Clinton's email matter. The FBI has launched a new investigation into the Clinton Foundation the day after the Clintons' Chappaqua property catches fire. Former FBI Director James Comey full Clinton memo was released revealing felony evidence of charges which decriminalized Hillary Clinton's behavior. Oh, and every one of the memos he linked to his Cornell professor buddy was classified per a sworn statement by the FBI Chief's Freedom of Information Act officer in a sworn declaration obtained by Judicial Watch. The House Intelligence Committee will be granted access to all remaining investigative documents, unredacted, along with the witness sought per a deal reached between the Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and Nunes. Opposition research firm Fusion GPS was forced to hand over banking records detailing various clients and their intermediary law firms, including the Clinton campaign and a Russian money launderer whose lawyer was none other than Natalie Veslit, I can't pronounce her name, I'm sorry, of Trump Tower meeting fame. Most of these wheels, which appeared to be in motion, are the result of corresponding groundwork laid on Capitol Hill you may not be aware of, including what might be the most important document in the entire process, expected in a little over a week. On January 15th, the DOJ's internal watchdog, the Officer of the Inspector General, is expected to present their findings to the congressional investigators regarding a wide variety of alleged bias and malfeasance by the FBI, the Clinton campaign, and the Obama administration, both during and after the 2016 election. Moreover, the man heading up the OIG investigation, Michael Horowitz, found the Obama administration fought the Obama administration to regain investigative powers which were restricted by former Attorney General Eric Holder during the Fast and Furious scandal. As you read below, this highly anticipated report is likely to be the legal impetus behind a second special counsel, as detailed by an independent researcher from New York who goes by the Twitter handle Trump Soldier. His reporting conveyed below is a deep dig into the OIG's ongoing investigation, how Congress and the OIG have worked in tandem to pave the way for a special counsel, and how Michael Horowitz went to war with the Obama administration to restore the OIG's power. Interesting. Who is Michael Horowitz? Him. Michael Horowitz testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Horowitz was appointed head of the Office of the Inspector General in April 2012 after the Obama administration hobbled the OIG's investigative powers in 2011 during the Fast and Furious scandal. The changes forced the various inspectors general for all government agencies to request information while conducting investigations, as opposed to the authority to demand it. This allowed Holder and other agency heads to bog down OIG requests in bureaucratic red tape and in some cases deny them outright. What did Horowitz do? As one Twitter commenter puts it, he went to war. In March of 2015, Horowitz's office prepared a report for Congress entitled Open and Unimplemented IG Recommendations. It laid the Obama administration bare before Congress, illustrating, among other things, how the administration was wasting tens of billions of dollars by ignoring the recommendations made by the OIG. Yeah. After several attempts by Congress to restore the OIG's investigative powers, Representative Jason Chaffetz successfully introduced H.R. 6450, the Inspector General Empowerment Act of 2016, signed by a defeated lame duck President Obama, into law on December 16, 2016, cementing an alliance between Horowitz and both houses of Congress. And this is a tweet by Trump Soldier. Due to the Inspector General Empower Act of 2016, the OIG has access to all of the information that the target agency possesses. This not only includes their internal documentation data, but also that which the agency externally collected and documented. Interesting. So, here we see another tweet by Trump Soldier. Horowitz in 2017 took his organization to a new level via public disclosure. He no longer wants his findings hidden from us by the media. In May, he created the Twitter account at oversight.gov. On October 1st, his website oversight.gov went live. Horowitz's efforts to roll back Eric Holder's restrictions on the OIG sealed the working relationship between Congress and the Inspector General's office, and they most certainly appear to be on the same page. Moreover, brand new FBI Director Christopher Wray seems to be on the same page as well. So, interesting. Here's another tweet by Trump Soldier. Unring that bell. Christopher Wray reveals the IG Sword's power to reopen investigations. After a tangled legal exchange that runs out the clock, he puts the Hillary investigation back on the table almost as an afterthought. Easily my favorite moment. Which brings us back to the OIG report expected by Congress a week from Monday. On January 12th of last year, Inspector Horowitz announced an OIG investigation based on requests from numerous chairmen and ranking members of congressional oversight committees, various organizations such as Judicial Watch, and members of the public. The initial focus ranged from the FBI's handling of the Clinton email investigation to whether or not Deputy FBI Director Andrew McCabe should have been recused from the investigation, ostensibly over $700,000 his wife's campaign took from Clinton crony Terry McAuliffe around the time of the email investigation, to potential collusion with the Clinton campaign and the timing of various Freedom of Information Act releases. I did see in one of the Q posts, recent Q posts, where they talked about Andrew McCabe going down, and they said something about number 2 going down, and somebody mistook it for Pence, but it was corrected that it's Andrew McCabe. So interesting. I think we're going to have to all keep our eyes on the news over the next few weeks. So it is all very interesting. On July 27th, 2017, the House Judiciary Committee called on the DOJ to appoint a special counsel detailing their concerns in 14 questions pertaining to actions taken by previously public figures like Attorney General Loretta Lynch, FBI Director James Comey, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The questions range from Loretta Lynch directing Mr. Comey to mislead the American people on the nature of the Clinton investigation, Secretary Clinton's mishandling of classified information, and the mishandling of her email investigation by the FBI, the DOJ's failure to e-panel a grand jury to investigate Clinton, and questions about the Clinton Foundation, the Uranium One, and whether the FBI relied on the Trump-Russia dossier created by Fusion GPS. Trump soldier tweets here, "This powerful letter is a thing of beauty that expands the scope and establishes the legal framework for a special counsel. Read in its entirety to see where we are headed. Steele dossier, Uranium One, Clinton Foundation." And another tweet. Questions for IG. "This powerful letter is a thing of beauty that..." Okay, that's the same thing. Don't know why it's there twice. Questions summary 1 to 5, Clinton email investigation. 6 to 8, Clinton Foundation Uranium One. 9, DNC election rigging. 10 to 14, weaponized DOJ, FBI, Steele dossier, Russian hoax. So it looks like all this stuff is coming to light finally. And now the OIG report can tie all of this together, as it will solidify requests by congressional committees while also satisfying a legal requirement for the Department of Justice to impartially appoint a special counsel. As illustrated below by Trump soldier, the report will go from the Office of the Inspector General to both investigative committees of Congress, along with the Attorney General Jeff Sessions, and is expected on January 15th. So, yeah. Sounds like we should be following Trump Soldier on Twitter. I think I'm going to do that. Congress will receive the Inspector General report on January 15th, 2018. We learned this on December 13th, 2017 at the House Judiciary Committee hearing with Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein. Okay, once Congress has reviewed the OIG report, the House and Senate Judiciary Committee will use it to supplement their investigations, which will result in hearings with the end goal of requesting or demanding a special counsel investigation, which we need. The DOJ can appoint a special counsel at any point or wait for Congress to demand one. If a request for a special counsel is ignored, Congress can pass legislation to force the appointment. And while the DOJ could act on the OIG report and prosecute themselves without a special counsel, it is highly unlikely that the Congress would stand for that, given the subjects of the investigation. The OIG report could be in the hands of the DOJ as soon as January 8th for review. However, it is unclear whether their response will be included in the copy of the report issued to congressional investigators on January 15th. Their comments are key. As Trump Soldier points out in his analysis, the DOJ can take various actions regarding policy, personnel, procedures, and reopening of investigations. In short, just about everything. Immunity agreements can also be rescinded. That's interesting. So, I don't know if we need to go through all this. I don't think we do. But let's go and see what other little interesting tidbits of... oh, look at this. This is a tasty little tidbit right here. Planned Parenthood received millions of dollars after lobbying Clinton's State Department. Interesting. Planned Parenthood and international affiliates received more than $1 million from U.S. aid. Planned Parenthood lobbied the Department of State many times during Hillary Clinton's tenure there and received tens of millions of dollars from foreign policy agencies over the past few years, according to a new report. As Secretary of State, Clinton attacked the Mexico City policy, which bans federal funding of abortion overseas. Her husband revoked the policy during his administration, and President Obama lifted the ban upon taking office in 2009. Just one second. The United States Agency for the Internal Development, USAID, which is tied to the State Department, steered more than $100 million in funding to Planned Parenthood, its international affiliates, and the Pro-Abortion Population Council between 2010 and 2012. According to the Government Accountability Office, about 20% of the nearly 500 million pro-abortion organizations received from taxpayers during that time frame. The taxpayer dollars that Planned Parenthood received dwarfed. Are they not making enough from the sale of baby organs? Apparently not. Apparently they need our taxpayer dollars as well as the illegal sale of baby organs. The taxpayer dollars that Planned Parenthood received dwarfed the $3.4 million that Planned Parenthood spent on lobbying during President Obama's first term, according to a report from Women Speak Out, partner of the Susan B. Anthony List and American Rising. Government records document more than 30 instances of Planned Parenthood lobbying federal agencies, including the State Department, while Clinton was serving there. Congress is now considering bills to deny taxpayer funds to the nation's largest abortion provider after undercover video surfaced from the nonprofit Center for Medical Progress showing Planned Parenthood officials casually discussing the harvesting of fetal organs and the price of body parts. That's what a baby is now. Just body parts and fetal organs that can be sold for money. That's what a baby is now. The group released a fourth video Thursday showing executives at Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains carving up aborted babies while saying, "It's a baby and another boy." The executive, this makes me sick. The executive, identified as Savita Ginde, also tells the undercover videographers who posed as prospective organ buyers how Planned Parenthood justifies the sales of those organs. Yeah. In public, I think it makes a lot more sense for it to be in the research vein than, I'd say, a business venture. She said Planned Parenthood has responded to the scandal of the videos by claiming the fetal body parts are used for research on numerous occasions. Do the people that are having these abortions, do they understand that their baby is being sold, whether for research or whatever? Do they know that? I bet you they don't. And I bet you it's not disclosed. Of course it wouldn't be. Clinton is the top recipient of campaign donations from workers at the nation's largest abortion provider, including a $2,700 donation from the CEO of Planned Parenthood of the Rocky Mountains, Vicki Cohart. The nearly $10,000 she received from Planned Parenthood employees and executives is about 20 times more than the rest of the presidential field combined. Neither the Clinton campaign nor the Clinton Foundation responded to requests for comment. Well, of course they didn't. You really think they're going to answer questions? For more than 2 decades, her cozy relationship with Planned Parenthood was a source of cash and powerful political support. In light of yet another video brutally detailing the reality of abortion and harvesting of baby organs, it is a massive liability, she said. The Clinton campaign has drawn heavily from pro-abortion professionals. One of its top officials in Iowa, the nation's first primary state, is Lily Adams, daughter of Planned Parenthood's president, Cecil Richards. Jane Emerson, the women's outreach director of Clinton's failed 2008 campaign, previously served as CEO of the abortion provider's South Carolina operations. Planned Parenthood has also partnered with Clinton's controversial Family Foundation, helping with 6 projects under the Clinton Global Initiative umbrella. The Clinton Foundation did not respond to a request for comment. Why would they? Why would they? Have they ever been forthcoming about anything? Clinton, a recipient of the Margaret Sanger Award, initially defended the billion-dollar organization when the Center for Medical Progress released several hours of undercover video showing Planned Parenthood officials casually discussing the harvesting of fetal organs and the price of body parts. Those videos captured numerous officials and medical personnel discussing the various techniques that the abortionist employs to recover intact body parts, which would violate federal law. 3 congressional committees are now investigating Planned Parenthood over these violations. Clinton has since backed away from outright support of the organization after a 3rd video was released Tuesday showing a former organ retrieval technician discuss how clinics financially benefit from the practice. Clinton told the New Hampshire union leader that she found the imagery disturbing. Not sure if I believe that, personally. I have seen pictures from them and obviously find them disturbing, she says. This raises not questions about Planned Parenthood so much as it raises questions about the whole process that is not just involving Planned Parenthood, but many institutions in our country. Well, she would know. If there's going to be any kind of congressional inquiry, it should look at everything and not just one organization. Dannenfelser said that Clinton's tepid support for the investigation was smart politics as voters reacted to the video scandal. Hillary Clinton, like many Democrats, have painted themselves into a corner by supporting abortion on demand up until the moment of birth, paid for by taxpayer dollars. The more Americans learn the truth about this extreme position, the more they will reject it, she said. Well, that was distasteful. So let's go and see what else. Oh, yes. This is interesting. Doesn't seem to want to go out there. Oh, here we go. No. What is happening here? Why isn't this working? Okay, well, my here we go. I'll shut some of these down. I definitely need a boost in my RAM on my computer. Okay, here we go. DC Press Corps knew for a full year. Now, this just came out yesterday. The DC Press Corps knew for a full year Hillary Clinton was behind the Russia dossier and hid it from the public. The DC Press Corps and prominent Washington journalists knew Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier as early as September of 2016, yet they suppressed the information and acted as if the salacious document was legit intel. Just one second here. I want to get rid of some of this so that my all right. My computer's running slow and I've got some things going on in the background. So, okay. Now, the liberal mainstream media withheld this from the American public for a year. This is why Americans loathe mainstream media. You can say that again. Why would somebody do that? Honestly, if you are a honest journalist, you would want that information known. You wouldn't sit on it. The liberal, they just, I guess they feel like, well, I guess that they're bought and paid for is what they are. They are nothing more than a mouthpiece for the Democrats and deep state hacks. Paul Sperry of the New York Post said an ex-Trump campaign advisor told him prominent D.C. journalists admitted to him during the campaign they knew Hillary Clinton was behind the Russia dossier, yet they continued to report as if the salacious document was legit intelligence. Sperry tweeted, breaking, ex-Trump campaign advisor says prominent Washington journalist told him during campaign early as September 2016 they knew Hillary Clinton was behind the anti-Trump dossier, and yet they sat on the critical information for a full year and acted as if the dossier was legit intel. I don't know. Our news is just, it seems on almost surreal, the world that we're living in right now with all this stuff. It really does. I just sometimes have to pinch myself and say, is this really happening? Like, can this be real? Apparently it can, and it is. So, and this is just, they all knew. They knew, and they all lied to the American public. And that's the bottom line. Shortly after the Washington Post published their bombshell in mid-October revealing Hillary Clinton's camp paid for the dossier, prominent New York Times reporters came forward claiming they were lied to by Hillary's people. No, really? Hillary's people wouldn't lie, would they? The New York Times was onto this scoop as well. Apparently, when New York Times reporter Kenneth Vogel questioned Clinton's campaign lawyer, Mark Elias, he pushed away vigorously, saying his sources were wrong. New York Times reporter Kenneth Vogel tweeted, when I tried to report this story, Clinton campaign lawyer pushed back vigorously, saying, you or your sources are wrong. White House correspondent for the New York Times, Maggie Haberman, also blasted the lying Democrats over the debunked dossier when she tweeted, folks involved in funding this lied about it, and with sanctimony for a year. It was a rare moment of honesty by Ms. Haberman. At the end of October, Hillary Clinton claimed she didn't know about the Russia dossier that her campaign actually paid for. Yeah. No, seriously. I know. Hey, you can't make this stuff up. Like, you can't. Until after BuzzFeed published the 35-page document in January of 2017. Of course, Hillary Clinton knew about the dossier. The salacious document was a failed October surprise. Paul Sperry is the former D.C. bureau chief for Investors Business Daily. Hoover, institution media fellow, author of several books, including bestseller Infiltration. Yeah, okay. So, let's go on back out and see what else I came across today in my travels. Well, this little tidbit right here. The State Department's shadow government. Now, this is from October 2016, but it's definitely pertinent. News that a top State Department official discussed a quid pro quo in exchange for the FBI changing the classification of a Hillary Clinton email is shocking enough, but word that the coterie of state officials who control the release of the emails called itself the shadow government is mind-blowing. Now, this is quite interesting. The latest FBI dump of documents from the investigation into Clinton's email follies included a summary of one agent's talks with Undersecretary Patrick Kennedy, who, the agent said, pressured him to change the classified email to unclassified. Kennedy asked his assistance in altering the email classification in exchange for a quid pro quo, the summary says, in exchange for marking the email unclassified. State would reciprocate by allowing the FBI to place more agents in countries where they were presently forbidden. Yeah. I wanted to get to this part about the shadow. Okay. This is why I highlighted this, because in a recent Q post, he said the 7th floor is no more. And this is what he was talking about right here. The FBI also released the summary of an interview that revealed a cabal at state that oversaw the email release, a powerful group of very high-ranking state officials that some referred to as the Seventh Floor Group or as the Shadow Government. This group met every Wednesday afternoon to discuss everything Clinton related to the Freedom of Information Act congressional inquiries. So that is what that Trump, that Q tweet really, not, it wasn't a tweet, forgive me, it was a post by Q, and it said, "Seventh floor is no more." And we go back to this article and we find that the FBI released the summary of an interview that revealed a cabal at state that oversaw the email release, a powerful group of very high-ranking state officials that some referred to as the Seventh Floor Group or as the Shadow Government. Now, isn't that interesting? I think it's very interesting. Imagine officials high in the George W. Bush administration calling themselves the shadow government as they oversaw a supposedly nonpartisan release of documents that could sink the White House hopes of its former boss. Heck, state on its own somehow never officially noticed Clinton's missing emails, regular reporting no records that comply to subpoenas and Freedom of Information requests, only the hacking of Clintonite Sidney Blumenthal's emails 2 years after she left office began to expose the truth. And in, it would have been one of the Q posts from about a month ago because it's one that I recently covered. Q said, "Fly, Sid, fly." And that is who he was referring to, is Sidney Blumenthal. The FBI has flagged the quid pro quo exchange for further investigation. Don't expect that probe to go far if the shadow government becomes the real thing after November 8th. Well, fortunately, they did not. The shadow government is no more, apparently, according to QAnon. They are no more. The seventh floor is no more. So, what else do I have? Well, let's take a little boo. Make sure that we haven't covered this yet. And we haven't, so let's take a look at this one. Having fun yet? Okay. Once classified FBI memos implicate Mueller, Rosenstein, Hillary, Holder, Comey, Lynch, and Uranium One cover-up. Woohoo! I mean, we already know this, but it's just interesting. They and their cronies were all involved in the Uranium One scandal, and they all covered it up, hoping to run out the clock. Then Donald Trump was elected to the White House. Previously classified FBI memos recently surfaced Previously classified FBI memos recently surfaced do more than help frame this illegal portrait even better than a mystery FBI informant. And it wasn't the New York Times who uncovered the memos. It was an independent researcher on Twitter named Katika. Here is what she found. In an otherwise innocuous FBI Freedom of Information Act file, Katisha maybe, I'm not sure how she pronounces her name, but located a notice for preservation of documents sent by an FBI special agent to the nuclear, it's not nuclear, how I was pronouncing it before, so forgive me because there were several people that told me that I was pronouncing it wrong. It's nuclear. Regulatory Commission on August 28, 2015. What is interesting about the preservation requests are the recipients, their attachment to CFI-US, Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, and the timeline of events surrounding the agent's notification. The timeline here is very important as it might change the perception of exactly what the FBI was investigating as it relates to Hillary Clinton's email scandal. Therefore, a backdrop to understanding content and context is important. The discovery by Katika shows that on August 28, 2015, an FBI special agent sent a notification to preserve records to Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the U.S. Department of Treasury, Office of Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, the National Counterterrorism Center, and the U.S. Department of Energy. Yeah. And this is just one of the FBI internal memos. There are others. This revelation means that all the apex players in the deepest part of the DC deep swamp would have some level of exposure risk within the underlying scandal. The reality also presents a problem because the people charged with protecting U.S. interests, the investigative leadership, are the very people that need to be investigated. Imagine that. Yep. So that is basically that. These were things that I ran across today, and I thought, well, they certainly pertain to what we've been looking at, and they certainly pertain to everything that Q has been saying. So I thought you all might be interested in that. I have one more thing, which is of interest to Canadians. Look at this. Imagine this. Prime Minister Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau, gave $20 million in taxpayer money to the Clinton Foundation. Yeah. I didn't know that. Actually, a friend of mine sent me this information not that long ago. And I thought, well, certainly because I've lived most of my life in the States and I'm back in Canada temporarily, I'm more interested in United States politics. That's where my interest lies, and I don't really pay that much attention to Canada. So I should, because I was born a Canadian, but I don't. And so I found this a little bit alarming. But at the Family Planning Summit, the Trudeau government has announced $241.5 million in foreign aid, all funded by Canadian taxpayers. $20 million of that funding is going to the Clinton Foundation. This is raising doubts among many people who are questioning why the government would be giving our money to the Clinton Foundation, considering how politically divisive it has become and considering the massive fees charged by both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. As pointed out by the Toronto Sun, Bill Clinton has reportedly made $26 million in speaking fees from Clinton Foundation donors. Additionally, while Hillary was Secretary of State, the Clinton Foundation received millions from rich and powerful donors, including foreign governments, many of whom were seeking for favorable decisions from the U.S. State Department. Yeah, Trudeau, why did you do that? Huh? I've been clear on where I stand on foreign aid. As nice and important as each individual case may seem, I don't think any money taken from taxpayers should be going towards foreign aid. It should be a private decision made by individual Canadians and private organizations, not a decision forced upon us through our taxes being extracted from us. And with that said, there are certain better places to give money than the Clinton Foundation. Hear, hear. Their connections to globalist banks like Goldman Sachs, brutal regimes such as Saudi Arabia, and of course, the exorbitant speaking fees are all reason it's a big mistake to give any of our taxpayer money to the foundation. With all that in mind, it's not a surprise to see Trudeau give Clinton Foundation so much of our hard-earned money. Trudeau and the Clintons are members of the globalist elite, and the elites never miss a chance to enrich each other, especially with money taken by tax-paying citizens. Isn't that the truth? So, and I like that. It says, this website doesn't take any money from the government, and it never will. If you support my writing and want to help this website grow, there are ways you can help. You can contribute monthly to Patreon, or see, that's good. But interesting website, spencerfernando.com. Okay, so that's it for that. I just wanted to keep you all abreast of the happenings, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you guys, and I have some awesome listeners. I have a few not so awesome listeners that send me nasty stuff, but for the most part, I have great listeners. Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye.